I am wondering if I should end my relationship or give my boyfriend an ultimatum over his deep involvement in a multi-level marketing business.
Oh, is he selling essential oils?
No, I wish it was that simple,
Let me guess.
honestly.
Candles?
It would be even better, but...
Does he hand make earrings?
No, nothing like that. It is, I would say at least it's more about business coaching, but then there's products involved in that as well. So it's business coaching is a part of it, but then they're obligated to buy a substantial amount of products. And I'm not sure if you've ever heard of Amway, but...
Oh, jeez. Yes, I've heard of Amway. I didn't even know Amway was still a thing.
Right. I know because my mom had told me my uncle actually was involved in that years ago, maybe for a few months.
But hold on, Grace, haven't you seen the charts? Y'all can make $7 million a year if you just get another 1,100 people to commit to $1,500 a month. And geez Louise. All right, so how bad is it?
Well, he's known these people for like 7 years. So they're his friends. He considers them his mentors. And we met 3 years ago, but we officially started dating at the beginning of this year. So I get that. I've only been in his life for 3-4 months.
Here's all that matters. Here's all that matters. After 7 years, I have a business coach, by the way. I also have a therapist. Mm-hmm. I believe in both of those things.
Mm-hmm.
After 7 years, does he make any money?
He does not.
Okay. Then his business coaching that he has received has been an abject, complete, and total failure. What's his monthly buy-in? Does he have to keep paying them?
He's supposed to pay $200. He has to pay $200 for the coaching aspect of it.
Okay.
And then he's also supposed to be paying $500 a month for products. And he says they're products he would buy anyways. I think what really bothers me is the fact that he has some debt. He's paid down a substantial amount of debt. He's actually in, Ramsey's program. He's gone through financial peace and he's paying down that debt, but he considers this as an investment and they're products he would buy anyways. And I know he's not, he's told me he's paying cash for the products, so not on credit right now.
What does he do for a job though?
Right now he works, he's in the auto industry. A manager. His job, I guess I would say that was another thing at first, is like some volatility. He went from sales to now more of a stable position, but I obviously haven't known him, to see over time, like his work. I would just say work ethic, and I'm not trying to be critical, and I care so much
listen, Grace,
for him.
You're dating him. Be critical. It's fine. Like, you love him. My wife is critical of things that she needs to be critical about. I'm critical of things I need to be critical about. Criticism isn't bad if it's couched in level of we're on the same team and we're both working towards something. That's not a bad thing. It's accountability. Criticism is one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the relationship apocalypse. If you are criticizing because you think you're better than him, then yeah, you got a relationship issue. That is not what I sound like. It's not what it sounds like here. It sounds like you love somebody and they're fun and they're cool and they're charming. And you see, if I anchor myself to this person, like I've got 10 years of evidence of what comes next for you.
That's what I'm worried about, because he did say it's his fault that he hasn't made it, which I think that's pretty common in these kinds of situations. He hasn't gone all in, but now, he's been focused. He's doing what he's supposed to be doing. He's listening to all the hype that they give him. He's attending the conferences.
Is he making any money?
Not at all. In fact, he is spending money. It's
right. This is like a realtor who goes to, one of my good friends, Brian Buffini, the biggest, he coaches real estate agents. Okay. Mm-hmm. And his stuff is so proven. He's amazing at what he does. But this is like somebody paying him, and then as a part of being in his program, they go and buy houses so that they can get sales. Mm-hmm. That's not selling. Like, he's a part of a multi-level marketing thing, your boyfriend is, where he's supposed to get products at a discount and then resell them because they hype him up and teach him how to sell and crush it and kill your goals and get your dreams and get that Ferrari. But he's buying the stuff for himself.
Right.
And then he's passing it off saying, no, I would buy this anyway.
Yeah, and now he has a couple people signed up beneath him. And my other worry is that even if he did make it, I'm like, when do you go from being preyed upon? Because I feel like he's been through a lot. His past, he's got, a lot of different, where he's at today, he's a fighter and he's really worked through a lot of things, but I think he was taken advantage of at a vulnerable spot. And that's how I look at it. He would look at it as these people are his friends, his mentors. He's way better off since he met them. And we've had multiple conversations where one point he said, if he would do it one more year, just give him one more year, see what he can do. And if he's not making any money off of it, then he'll leave. And then he almost took that back and said, well, actually, I'm still getting so much value. These are my friends and mentors. Even if I don't make money, it's still worth it. And then the next time we talked, he said, well, he'll leave completely because he cares about me. He doesn't want to lose me. And I told him in that conversation, I can't necessarily, I feel if we set a precedent for you give up this and then I go all in with you, I don't think that's a healthy precedent because I think that he knows that's what's holding me back from being like, yeah, I could go all in and I could marry you and I could see a future with you. It's kind of holding me back a little bit.
You're very wise because yes, he'll resent you for it and he'll be back in within 6 months of you being married. You know that. He knows that. So let's do this. I want to not judge him. He's making his choices. He's spending his money, doing his thing as he wants to. I'm not going to judge him. Okay? Mm-hmm. He's not here to defend himself and it doesn't do any good. Right. Like I say, I have a business coach. I'm friends with Brian. Brian's amazing. Dave Ramsey's a friend. He's amazing. Like the Entree Leadership Program is astounding. It's amazing. I sign my friends up. Like it's amazing stuff. So I'm all for business coaching. I guess the question I have for you is, you seem to have identified that I'm in love with somebody or I care for somebody, whatever word you want to use, that I don't think he makes wise choices. Mm-hmm. I think he is someone who's able to be manipulated. I worry about his work ethic. I worry about how he spends his time and his money. So take away this happened 10 years ago and he's being preyed, take all that away. Ask yourself the hard question. Do I want to anchor myself to this person to co-create a world together moving forward? That's the question. My wife tells people that she bought low, like when it came to stocks. I didn't bathe very often. I was a wild dreamer and I was always in grad school. Mm-hmm. And she said, I knew this, but I always showed up and I worked really hard. And she said, I knew that we were always going to be moving forward somewhere. In our wildest dreams, not this nonsense. Podcasting didn't even exist when we got, right? Not this, but I had a career. I had a great career before this. And so going all in on somebody who hasn't quote unquote made it yet, that's part of life. That's part of it, right? You see potential. I want to build a life together. That's the question that you have before you. Is this person someone that you can trust to lean on and that you will receive the leaning that they're going to do on you as y'all build something together?
That's a tough question. I think.
Hold on. It's not, though. It's not. I think you know the answer to that. What's tough is the ramifications of you answering that question honestly. Mm-hmm. Yay or nay?
Yeah, I guess I think I've spent so much time dating and I'm in my 30s and I guess it's the first time I've really in years cared about somebody deeply and had like the attraction, had almost, and where I feel like it is a partner, like the way he does care and the way he shows up for me in all the other ways are so great. It's kind of hard to think about just letting that go over something like this. But then there's also the piece of I grew up in poverty. I grew up with some food insecurity. I grew up with my parents fighting about money a lot. And that was a huge issue. So I told myself, like, this will never happen to me. And I put myself through college debt free. I got a job. I saved my money. I bought a house. I put money. I have a good retirement savings. I have a good savings account, all for the security that it brings me. And I think I'm just terrified to let somebody into that, not knowing that I can trust them.
But would you be scared if he was an electrician and he worked 10-hour days and he got up and made you coffee in the morning, he went to work, worked really hard, came home exhausted, made a 6-figure paycheck, made a 65. I don't care the money, 65,000, but he was consistent and he made it, and he had dreams of one day having his own shop.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have those same concerns? I don't think so.
Probably not. And that's what's tough, because I have dated guys who made 6 figures and
I shouldn't have said that. Who cares about that part of it? Here's what I think. I think that your body knows this story. Both the good of this story and the bad of this. This story is familiar to your nervous system. You hear that like the old therapist line, you marry your unfinished business.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere your body wants to solve this. It feels comfortable. It feels right. It's what you know. And you've worked really hard to have this thing never happen again.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward. Just you've been together 3 years. 6 months from now, y'all go to the courthouse. Y'all come up to Nashville, Tennessee. I marry you in the yard out here. Okay? Would you leave that marriage ceremony and go down there and get a joint checking account that y'all both put your money in, you both pull money out?
I would be nervous to do that.
Nervous is fine. Would you do that? Knowing what you know about how he spends money and how he values things and how he works and how he has set about trying to co-create a life with you.
I've actually told him before, you want to rush to get married by the end of the year, I would marry you, but I wouldn't combine finances.
Okay, then that's silly. That's like saying that's like saying I'm going to marry you, but I'm not going all in, which just guarantees that your marriage isn't going to work out. Because he's going to know he's married to someone who has one foot out, so to save himself, he's got to keep a foot out, and then y'all just going to row in circles until the boat sinks.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe, and I'm not saying give up on him. What I want you to own is what you want. Mm-hmm. And I think you're apologizing for what you want. And that is somebody who you can depend on, someone who is safe. And you've never experienced that, ever.
No, I feel like I had to be that for myself.
That's right. So you're going to have to practice leaning on somebody, and you're going to have to find somebody that you can lean on. And so it's not a bad thing for you to say, I love you. 3 years. I can see us having a family. I can see us getting old and fat together out in the lawn chairs in the front yard, listening to your Nickelback CDs. He sounds like a guy that listens to Nickelback still. And sitting on the front porch, watching our grandkids run around, playing with their AI robots or whatever. Like I could see all that, and I can, in good conscience, connect myself to somebody who is repeatedly taken advantage of, who repeatedly puts money into a thing while we're losing money, who doesn't have a steady job, who doesn't have any sort of plan for the future other than crush it and kill it. Oh, yeah. Like, I need something more secure. And if you want in, awesome. So I guess your ultimate question is, should I give an ultimatum? It sounds like you have an ultimatum. You're just scared that he's going to look at you and say, no, I choose them. And what I would tell you in a dating relationship, I hope you get that out before you get married.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think my other fear is, even if he were to choose me over that in this present time, what next thing will happen?
It could be amazing.
It could.
I chose my wife over a bunch of stuff. And I didn't know until 7 or 8 years into being married that she felt guilty that I chose her over some of those things. And I thank God every day that I did. It's not a bad thing. And there were seasons when I was upset about it. There really were.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God every day that I made those choices. So choosing you over something isn't a bad thing. It's not a negative thing. You will choose him. You'll choose sharing. You'll choose being vulnerable again over this perceived safety that you've built for yourself. Both of y'all will choose things over each other. I mean, you'll all choose, right? That's part of it. But y'all can choose something amazing. I want you to write down, here's your homework assignment. Write down, if these 5, 10, 15, 2, 3, whatever, if these things were different, I would marry this guy today. I think he has a right to know those things. Here's what I'm scared about. And here's what we've talked about for the last 3 years, and I've repeatedly heard you make excuses, go around the edges here, all these things. Fine. You can do whatever you want. You can spend your money however you want. But as for me and my house, the world I want to co-create with somebody, it's going to have to be safe. It's going to have to be directed. I need to see a work ethic. I want us to build towards something and not 10 years of throwing monthly expenses away for some sort of business coaching that hasn't worked. In fact, it just continues to cost more money and more money and more money, plus the annual conference, super atomic diamond division where we can. And can we be honest for a second? Everybody out there who's 1 year in, 2 years in, 3 years into a long-term relationship, it feels like a sunk cost. I've already put this much time in it. I'm in my 30s. The clock is ticking, all that stuff. I get that. I get it. But I promise those 3 years, 15 years from now, after a divorce, after y'all are roommates, I promise those 3 years will be different then. You're going to wish you had that time back. So you're worth drawing a line. Yes, Grace, you are. And he's worth you drawing a line, so he knows. And only you can draw that line.